It's the best thing I've ever done. Like, yeah, I hope I can show my kids this episode in like 30 years to be like, I did this and this is why we were able to have the life we have.
This is Full Stack Moms.
This is not a parenting podcast nor a business podcast, but a place where we talk building careers in tech, raising kids at home, and making it work in public.
Let's get into it. So this is episode 1 or 2. I don't know. This is the first episode where, yeah, it's just me and Shannon hanging out. We picked a topic. We're going to talk about childcare, making some of the decisions associated with that. So many different ways to tackle it. So many options out there, none of which ever feel that great, might I add. So Shannon, why don't you go first? Talk to us about how you thought your first childcare setup was going to go.
Sure. This one actually did feel good to me. So I think that might be a turn of events here. So
Good.
When I was pregnant with my first, I was a VP of marketing at a Series A. And my plan was, I think I talked about this in our first episode, that I was going to leave for 3 months, come right back, full-time daycare. Luckily, my husband did have 3 months off too. So we were going to stack our parental leaves. Big. I know a lot of people have that opportunity now, which is amazing. So you end up with a 6-month-old going to daycare instead of a 12-week-old, which I think makes kind of a big difference. And yeah, we didn't take any of our leave together, but we that was worth it, I think, in the long run. So when I was 15 weeks pregnant, I already was like, I need to get on a waiting list for a daycare, because I thought daycare would be the best choice for us because I work fully remote. I didn't love the idea of the baby being in the house while I was here. I just was like, I don't think that's going to work. And to be clear, it was really hard, even when my husband was primary parent and I was downstairs. It was just a lot of mental, you're thinking the whole time about the baby. I was still breastfeeding. And so it was just really hard before
he
it
could
worked for
smell
myself.
you.
Oh, yeah.
He could probably smell you.
I want mom. And so I found a daycare center that would allow us to hold a spot. That's the other thing, because you can get into some of them won't even let you hold spots. They're if there is one available, we'll give it to you when you have a kid, but you can't hold one. So I found one that did. It was kind of far away from our house. I'm so glad we didn't go with this center, but it just made me feel like all I had to do was pay for 1 week ahead of time. And so, or 1 month ahead of time. I can't remember either. I think it was 1 week. And I remember it being that is worth the money just to have peace of mind that I know I'll have childcare when I go back to work. And I can always, I think the biggest takeaway I had from this is you can always change your mind. Anything is changeable.
Yeah, for sure.
At any time, right? And so I was like, this just makes me feel better knowing that I have childcare when my son was turning 5 months old. That's what we decided, or 5.5 months old, whatever. And so in the time, I was still pregnant, actually, because this was 15 weeks. I was barely pregnant. My employer didn't know, you were saying earlier, they didn't even know I was pregnant. And so toward the end of my pregnancy, I was like, maybe we should look at a few other places. I was starting to get a little gun shy. I was like, I'm glad we have a spot, but maybe we should look at a few others. And so I found a place that was really close to our house. Luckily, I had a neighbor that worked for care.com in the safety department. So she gave me an evaluation of all the daycares that were in our area. And she was like, these 3 are the only 3 you should, oh my God, I know, that you should look at. I'm like, great, cool. We had a few qualifications. We just wanted close to the house, good safety rating, diverse population. We would if the teachers spoke both English and Spanish. That was but wasn't a requirement, but we wanted. So we walked into the place we ended up going with, and it was so homey. It was 5 minutes away from our house. We're okay, let's give up our deposit at the other place. But this place you couldn't hold spots. So it was we'll still hold that spot, but if we can get into this other one, that would be better. Yeah, now Sebastian's been there for 2 years. It's
oh, good.
Amazing. I know. And I remember the first day I dropped him off at daycare, I felt this peace. I feel a lot of people are so many people text me, which was very sweet, being have you cried all day? Are you so stressed? And I'm not really. I was I'm actually really, really excited to have someone else help take care of him.
I feel great. Is that wrong?
Is that wrong? I really did feel bad about it. I was am I supposed to feel something different? And I felt a little guilt. I went on this whole thing, am I a bad mom? I'm sure we'll there's that question will come up a million times on this podcast, right? Like, am I a bad parent? Am I a bad business owner? You know, like you'd go through all these thoughts, right? Yep. And I think also Sebastian was like a really, really, really active newborn. And so he just needed a lot of stimulation. And I was like, man, I'm not built for this. Like, I don't teach preschool for a reason. You know, I'm not good at this, right? So yeah, we had a really great experience. Obviously, like we'll talk through he goes home. You know, the good thing about daycare is they're open every day, right? Like it's not like a nanny who can get sick or anything. But when your kids are sick, they're home and you're still paying. So that's the...
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, so I actually had a really good experience with my first choosing full-time daycare, even at the cost of what it was, right? Which is a lot of money, but
yes,
it's worth it.
And that's what I was hinting at when I said it's never great, is like the cost associated with it. But picking the right place and knowing that you are confident in the place, I think is what ends up making it worth the money. Do you know what I mean? Like that part matters. So for us, we've done so many different kinds of childcare. And let's see, I'm going to have to actually like remember as we go here. So when I got pregnant, I was also VP of marketing at a series almost B. And
wow, we had the same job. I don't think I knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's
look at us.
Why we get along.
We're kindred
so well.
Spirits, twin flames.
Yeah. Right away, I had this feeling of wanting to stay at home and thinking to myself, like, oh, I'd love to try being a stay-at-home mom, see if that, if I like that. I did not have a stay-at-home mom. I think that might be why I wanted to try it, because I was like a daycare kid and there was nothing wrong with it at all. But Brian was not a daycare kid. And so I was like, maybe I should try the other way. So we talked about it, thought about it.
That's so funny. I had a stay-at-home mom.
That is funny.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, my kids are going to daycare. It's so funny. Yeah.
That's great. Well, anyway, from an early stage, we were talking about, should I stay home? And so there was this big debate. You have to look at the budget. You have to figure out, if it's going to work for the family. And we decided that we could make it work. And so at some point along the way, I don't remember how far along I was, I did go ahead and tell my CEO that I was not going to come back. And he was super supportive of that, totally understood. And right away, we had an agreement that I would stay on as a contractor to ensure, some of the business continuity and help out here and there with a couple things. And I really wanted to stay on the company phone plan. So that was like my condition. It's like, I'll help you out still if you keep me on the phone plan. So that was like a perk. And so the thing that made that interesting is I think I was a contractor like pretty right away. I started consulting very quickly after he was born. So no maternity leave really to speak of there. And it went fine. I enjoyed keeping in touch with everybody at work, and I would bring him into the office with me, and the girls on the marketing team would they babysat him while I worked or went to meetings and stuff. So that was fun. So did that for a while. And so I was a stay-at-home mom, but I was a consultant.
I was going to say, you're calling yourself a stay-at-home mom and you're going into the office into meetings. I don't think you were stay-at-home.
Right? That's why I failed at it. That's why it didn't work, because I was trying to be a stay-at-home mom, air quotes. Yeah. But I was working.
Did you want to work, or were they making you feel like you had to? Did you want to do it?
I wanted to. I wanted to stay on the phone plan. Don't ask me why this was such an important thing to me. Brian's always been on his work phone plan. So I'm always trying to find my phone plan situation.
Pete and I just got on each other's phone plans. We were on our parents' still. I'm like, Pete, our kids are going to end up on their grandparents' phone plan. We need to get our own plans. It's just an annoying process. It's really annoying. It's not about the money. It's just the process is very annoying.
It is annoying. Grayson got an Apple Watch when he turned 8. No, when he turned 9. And that was the time for me to get on my own phone plan, was so I could have his watch on my phone plan. So I feel you there.
Still a consultant that was trying to get a phone plan from a business.
No, I was on my dad's at that time.
Of course you
Oh, someone just take care of me, please. Okay.
Please, dear God. I'm taking care of so many other people. Can someone just pay for my phone? Can somebody,
Right.
please?
Yes. So, long story short, stay-at-home mom, but consulting, probably at least 10-ish hours a week. Nothing that crazy. Then baby number 2 comes along. And I knew that I needed some more predictable childcare. So we would have sitters or, like part-time nanny that would come like 2 days a week. And I would work on those days and she would be there with the kids. We actually used a great service that was created by our friend, Miss Lisa, and she pairs you with a nanny. So that is really nice because she would handle the nanny payroll, like the tax docs. She would find a backup for you if your nanny was sick. So we really enjoyed that process. And for a while, Miss Lisa was our actual nanny herself until she got pregnant and she was going to have her own kids. So we did the nanny thing part-time for a while. And through Miss Lisa, we learned about au pairs. And Miss Lisa, when she was little, had an au pair. So we kind of learned about this from her and we started investigating it. And we're like, this could be kind of cool to have an au pair. And so for anybody who doesn't know what an au pair is, they come from usually a different country. They travel to you, they live with you, and they are part of your family. It's almost like a foreign exchange kind of situation, but they have a job as your nanny. And so they work a certain number of hours per week. There's like definitely some guidelines and regulations involved. But we pulled the trigger on that. We did that. So
I didn't know that. That's so cool.
It was really cool. We got an au pair. And by the way, at some point in time, when we got the au pair, I was already back to work full time by then at Cheetah Digital. I don't remember exactly the timing of that, but I was already back to work full time. We got the au pair. Her name was Valentina. Love her. Still very connected to her to this day. And so it was a really good experience for us. We had plenty of room in our house for like another person to live with us. And that's definitely
we don't have that.
A piece of the puzzle.
Someone asked me about that. I worked for a French company when I got pregnant. And so, of course, they were all like, well, obviously, you're going to have an au pair, right? And I was like, guys, I barely have a bedroom for the kids. Like, I don't have room to have someone else living here.
That's so funny.
Bought a house in Boston? It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a real thing. You have to be able to like fit it into the space and the style of your life. But it worked well for us. And shortly after she came to live with us, I got pregnant with Cohen, number 3. And so she thought she was coming to take care of 2 kids. And then, surprise, you're going to take care of 3 kids. But she was ecstatic. She loved it. And then we had a big gender reveal party for Cohen just for Valentina because she had seen like all these American gender reveal parties and she wanted to experience it.
That like we all hate it. She like thought it was so beautiful and cute. Also, by the way, we're having another boy. That's the other thing.
Yeah. It was like dream come true for her to participate in this gender reveal, which was so sweet. And so then COVID happened and we were so fortunate to have full-time childcare literally living in our home during COVID.
Wow.
I don't know how we got just this lucky, but we did. And so all of us were all quarantined all together. And that worked out pretty well because she could still be responsible for the kids during the day while we were still working remotely. And at some point in time, it had been about 2 years. And that's the standard like stint for an au pair is 1 year with an option to renew for a second. And she had already completed 2 years. And so she was going to go back home to Colombia. And at the time, there was like a policy change. It was a political thing. You couldn't get au pairs. It was like, we were not going to get another one. So we pivoted to daycare. And so at that time, all 3 of them went to daycare. So Cohen was a little bit over 1 when he started daycare.
1 and change.
1 and change. And then the other ones, they all went to the same place, this Goddard school. And it wasn't exactly our plan. So it ended up being a lot more costly than what we thought we would be paying for the childcare. Yeah, $40K for all three of them for a year to be in daycare.
You know what's crazy? That actually doesn't sound that crazy to me, because I think it cost me almost 30 for Sebastian to go by himself when he was.
Yeah.
Because infant care is really expensive, because the ratio is like, what, 3 kids to 1 teacher? It's like
3 to 1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to keep Willa out until she's a year old. We'll get to what I'm doing right now, which is
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah. Don't blame you there. So we didn't have to do the infant part, and we did get a sibling discount, which I've taken advantage of now with all 3 boys. But
and you can write off a whole $5,000 on your taxes. It's almost offensive. Yes. It's like who's paying $5,000 a year for childcare? That needs to be updated. That write-off needs to be updated to like $50,000.
Well, and I've talked to so many people who are like, it doesn't make sense for me to pay that much in childcare with the money that I make at work.
I know.
It's not worth the trade-off of so much of my salary going to childcare. So they either stay home or they go to part-time, they get grandma involved. Like, there's so many different options out there, but we started the daycare during COVID times. And so there were some times where it would shut down because a classroom would like have a case, and then anybody in that same room had to stay home for 7 days or something like that. One time we used that 7-day break to potty train Bennett. So that worked out fine, but it was just wild. So now they're all in school, and the daycare situation follows you even when they're all in elementary school, because you have to decide if you're going to let them come home on the bus or if they need after school care. And so for a few years, I let Grayson and Bennett come home on the bus after school, and they walked in this door right behind me, and everyone would see them and talk to them. And it was 2:45, which is very early for someone who's in the middle of their workday. But now they all go to the after school program at school. So
nice.
I'm covered until Brian picks them up.
I love that. Yeah, I left out what I did with my second child.
That's okay. We're coming back to her.
So I think I told this story in our first episode, but that I did go back to my job after my maternity leave the first time while Sebastian was in daycare, and then decided to start my own consulting business, because I was like, hey, I think this is going to be better for our family if I can still make good money, right? Which I feel very grateful to be able to do. And so Sebastian still stayed in daycare though. Like, I kept him. The thing about our daycare is it's full-time or nothing. Like, so that's pros and cons. It's cheaper than a lot of the other daycares in the area. Actually, all the other kids are on state voucher. There are very few folks that pay private, which is amazing. Shout out to Massachusetts. Lots of social programs. And so it's amazing. And so I was like, let's just keep him. We don't want him to lose his spot. He loves it there. Like, we saw like, oh my God, his language like exploded when he went, right? Like, and he just had like, I could just tell. I was like, he's a kid that thrives in this environment. Like, of course, he naps amazing at daycare, not at home. Like, I was like, okay, the kid loves structure and it's working great for him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the first 6 months or so of my business were pretty lumpy. I would like have like a big client, and then I would have nothing. And then that summer was really slow. I later found out that the year I started my business was like the slowest year that consultants have like ever had. Like, everyone I know that like that is a consultant has been a consultant for like 10 years. They're like, oh, that summer was terrible. I was like, okay, that makes me feel a little better. That like, it wasn't just me. It was just it was just bad timing. So I would pick him up early from school, or I would like take him out of school, but I usually would send him at least every day to nap at school. So then found out I was pregnant with my second right before Sebastian's first birthday. So my kids are pretty close in age. And so I was like, you know what? I really like the daycare experience for Sebastian, but I think having 2 kids that are in toddler infant care at the same time is like, that might be fiscally irresponsible. Like, I think, especially because I'm a consultant now, I can decide how many clients to have, what my schedule is, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yes, it is like, what a freaking blessing. It's the best thing I've ever done. Like, yeah, I hope I can show my kids this episode in like 30 years to be like, this is like, I did this and this is why we were able to have the life we have, right? Like, that's, yeah.
I love that.
It's something I think about a lot. Yeah. Also, Willow was born in June. So like when she'd go to daycare was like peak flu season. So I was like, you know what? let me see if I can get her to like 9 months, a year, where I can like parent and all that. Right. So I'd planned to take like 2 months off at least. I wound down all my clients. There were 2 clients that wanted to take me back after. I was like, I didn't expect that to happen. I was just expected to have to start over again. But they were like, hey, can we have you back? Like, when can we have you back?
That's
and
wonderful.
I was like, amazing. Yeah, it was. And I was like,
It's
great.
like maternity leave.
It really was. I know. And I also, Massachusetts was paying me. So that, because I am my own employer, right? But what I ended up doing is I got a call from one of those clients when I was 6 weeks postpartum, and they had a leadership change. And I thought what they were going to tell me is like, hey, we can't take you back. Like, there's no, like, we don't have budget, because the numbers weren't looking good either. Like, I know what was happening when I left. I was like, why would you want me back? That's why I assumed they wouldn't. I'm a fractional CMO, by the way. So I was running the marketing team, but I had already hired the team. I was like, they're doing great. And they were like, hey, can you come back like now? And I was like, oh, so
it's a
opposite
marketing
of what
emergency.
no such thing. But I was like, okay, sure. I was like, let's work. And I was working like 10 hours a week. Same thing that you were talking about. Like, so Willow was on all my calls. I wore her all the time. Like, and my husband was still not quite back full time yet. So he was helpful during the day. I will say the transition from 1 to 2 rocked me.
Agree.
Oh, I'm sure we can talk about that at a later date. But it was kind of good to have a little bit of work, I think, because I was feeling very lost. So I think it was good. It was kind of anchored me like in my old life, which I think was good. The special part about my second is she's still refusing to take a bottle, and she is over 8 months old. So like I had to go to New York for my client. I brought her with me. We'll talk about that on another episode. She came to a board prep meeting with me. She's been like, it kind of feels like she's building my business with me. It's pretty funny. But now finally it's starting to get unwieldy. Like she's crawling, she's super fast. Like all of these things is just not working. And I have more clients now. My business is growing. So I brought on, actually, I coach at a local gym. And a lot of the folks that go to the gym are like moms that used to be athletes, like a lot of us, like we're all. And one of the moms, all of her kids are now in full-time school, but she was a stay-at-home mom. And so I can actually hear her right now. She's watching Willa for a few hours, a few days a week.
Oh, so, wonderful.
Yeah, it's a gift. Until Sebastian moves out of that infant room, toddler room, which is in like 2 months. And then Willa will go to school. We'll go to daycare full time. So I think that the all in all here is you can see that we've done all of the options. I feel like between the two of us, we've done like pretty much all of them, right? And
we've covered the bases.
Yeah, other than fully staying home. We've done them all.
Yeah. Well, you know,
it's too hard.
That did kind of come with the territory of this show being about working moms. So
yeah,
I think
that's fair.
I think it works well. But so the options that I've never tried, one I've heard about is a nanny share.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Which I think is so cool. And this is where maybe like a couple people, they share a nanny. And so they will drop the kids off.
I think it's up to 3 kids. Yeah.
Up to 3, yeah. You drop them off at somebody's house, or maybe you're even rotating your homes as to which home the nanny goes to for the day. And the nanny watches all 3 kids from different families, and you all pay her, and you're paying your share, which I think is so cool. I would have liked an option like that. Problem is, I have my own 3, so like I am my own nanny share.
Nanny share. The au pair was your nanny share.
I guess so.
So you did try it, but it just happened to be, that. And the other one I haven't tried is home daycares. That's the other one. Like,
yeah, I'm afraid of those.
Yeah, it's just harder to know. Like the regulations are a little loosey goose. So I think it's a little, but in my neighborhood, I was walking with the kids one day and I was like, what is going on in that house? Like, it looks like there's like, do they have a business downstairs? I looked and I was like, oh, there's literally a home daycare in my neighborhood. So of course, like when I was in the panic of having a second kid, I was like, should I call this woman? Like, and I know a lot of people that it's worked really well for.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just decided not to, like, because we found like a center that we really, really liked. We decided not to look into it, but I know it's an option.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I have a couple of girlfriends who have done some specific in-home daycares that they just totally loved, and they've had like all their kids go, and you really become part of the family, and it's a lot more stable. So I see the perks of that, because at daycares, I've seen that there can be some turnover in the caretaking department, like the people who work there. And that is not necessarily ideal, right? You know,
No,
your
it's hard.
kids kind of like become attached to their teacher. And if their teacher, you know, decides to move on, or maybe they've had a goal of getting into an elementary school and they meet that goal, they move on from, you know, the daycare to the elementary school, there can be, you know, some feelings there. But overall, it's been a good experience for us. And we've even gone back to visit the daycare that the boys were at just to like say hi to everybody. And yeah, they were loved there. So it was a good time.
Yeah, I think it comes down to I'm a very like village kind of person. Like my kids are
Yes.
raised by not just me, not just my husband, but we have a lot of really close friends that are there, you know, that love and care for our kids. They have two sets of grandparents. Oh, that's the other one that so both sets of my in-laws and my parents still work full time. So I didn't have the option
Same.
of like, my mom actually does do Thursdays, but I have to go to her house, and she was already watching my nieces, so I just like tagged into that. I was like, "Hey, you got some room for one more?" So she
Hey,
watches
that's your nanny share.
That is my Nana share.
Ooh. Okay. This is a
It's good.
business
That's
idea.
This is.
Nana
Don't tell my
share.
mom is like super Nana too. She has every size of diaper the kids need. She has like it's amazing. I leave my brain and all my stuff at home when my kids go there. It's so amazing.
I love that.
And so, but of course she like wants Sebastian to come too. And I'm like, no, we pay for daycare. He's going to school. Like he's going to school. You can have Willa. You can have her. But I think the biggest thing is I just felt like our village got bigger when we decided to bring on childcare that we trusted. I'm sure you felt extra like that with an au pair. It's like, wow, look at this other person that loves and cares for my kids so much. And like, what a gift for your kids that they have this like big community of people that care for them. And of course it does require like a kind of loss of control as a parent. But I think it's like a really good lesson because parenting is all about lack of control. It was a really special thing for me to be able to like give them, you know, an additional village to help them grow, and people that are also that study how to teach children things. I'm like, what are you like? Are you supposed to know what a circle is at this age? Like, are you supposed to know what letters are? Like, I'm like, I don't. I'm glad that someone is teaching him that. So that's the good news.
Yeah. Let someone else decide. I forgot to mention that we still have a nanny because
I didn't know
our
that.
kids have the summer off. And so we have a summer nanny, Miss Lauren, who is the best thing in the world. And so in the summertime, she's here with the boys at home and I'm here. So there's a little chaos, but they're either like swimming in the pool or they go, you know, like to this club across the street. They go to every park in our area. They do a lot of fun stuff all summer with her. So we're doing the summer nanny instead of the summer camps. And a lot of people, their childcare in the summertime, when you have a school-age kid, actually becomes like summer camps. And so I don't have a lot of experience there, but I know that it is summer camp sign-up season right now. And it's very, very intense. People have spreadsheets. It is cutthroat and it's a lot.
Yeah, people always tell me, they're like, when you say daycare is expensive, they're like, yeah, the money just goes other places once the kids are out of daycare. It goes into like sports and camp and like all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just, you know, I chose to have these wonderful little gremlins. Like, you know, they're a part of my balance sheet from now and forever. So.
All right. So we need to talk about what saved our lives this week. We're going to try this out. We want to have a segment. Maybe every episode, maybe not. We'll feel it out, right? A thing or a person or a process that saved your life this week. So Shannon, what saved you this week?
Yeah, I am still in the crux of feeling a little bit chaotic when I take both kids out of the house at the same time because they're still pretty little. One is in like a, you know, I use a Doona for Willa with like a car seat stroller situation. And obviously Sebastian walks, but he's extremely fast and like the frontal lobe is not really there on like danger, right? And so I've now found the hack that is best for parking lot safety is that Sebastian actually pushes Willa in the Doona with me over him. And he is like, this is my job. I must stay attached to this baby while I am pushing her. And she thinks it's amazingly hysterical because she loves him. So that like little nuance of not like carry one kid, push the other, open the door. Also, the bane of your existence when you have a stroller is freaking doors. Like, like the arm situation is crazy. And like, you realize that most of the world is not handicap accessible. Let me tell you. It's like, like things you have to get over. So I think that little like hack system has saved my stress of him running into the street and also my ability to take both children out by myself, which I think is, God, props to anyone that does this with like 3 under 3. I don't really know how you would do that, but that has been my save this week is the coordination of the small child push the other small child while you are holding really hard to make sure she doesn't get pushed over a cliff. So that is.
I love it. And the Doona is like a save on its own because it's a car seat that turns into a stroller. You know,
it's a very polarizing product, but man, I love it. Like it was my number one for both kids. Number one product, saved me. Like I
say no shame in the Doona.
No, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, good. Okay, I decided my save this week is Lunchables from Costco.
Ooh, I don't know about these. Do tell.
Okay, so there's been field trips this week, and today for the boys is Global Play Day, so they had to bring their lunch. They normally don't bring their lunch on Friday because it's pizza day. So we had like an extra day of packing lunches this week, plus the complication of the brown bag lunch for the field trip. And I was a little stressed about it, you know, like lunches are my job in the morning. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to like stretch beyond my typical weekly lunch capabilities. Well, we were at Costco and we passed by the big kit. It comes with 6 Lunchables in it. Half of them are ham, half of them are turkey. But, you know, they're like just slightly healthier than your average Lunchable. You know, they've got like the nitrate-free deli meat and you can feel slightly better about it. So grabbed those. It gave me 6 things to use. I used 3 of them yesterday, 3 of them today, and now they're gone.
I was like, you didn't get to eat one? Are you sad?
No, but it saved me from the stress of different lunches and more lunches this week. So they didn't last long, but they helped. And that's my hack.
They served their function, their purpose.
They did.
I love that. I love a curated lunch. The mental load of cooking for children is really something else. So I am all for the ease of someone else compiling that meal for you.
Yep. Yeah, so there's 5 people in my home. Okay. So if there's a day where we are all home, we make 15 meals a day. 15 meals a day in this house. And when I stopped to think about that, it was just wild. And none of my kids eat the same thing either. So like a lot of them are distinct meals. So
I said to someone the other day, I have a friend that she is a stay-at-home mom and she has 2 kids the exact same age as mine. And I'm like, is all you do is clean the high chair all day? And she's like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's
100%.
We had a snow day the other day and I feel like all I did was clean up after the baby eating. It's like all she did was eat. Like and then after she ate, you clean up the eat because they're so messy. And then you're clean. Like, oh God, it's really, yeah.
Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Add it right on there.
Thanks for listening to Full Stack Moms.
We'll be back with more episodes that help you see you're not crazy and you're not alone. If we might be your people, please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah. I end up with my AirPods stuck in my ear all day and I don't even realize they're there. But I do it because I like the sensory dampening.
Yeah,
like
muting.
The noise cancel. There's something about becoming a mom where everything's too loud.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen until and watching TV with captions.
Oh yeah. Of course I do.
All of a sudden. Yeah, but that wasn't always, like it's like you become a parent and you need captions now.
I need multiple senses to be able to take anything in at this point because I'm so overstimulated.